survive and thrive, you must adopt a product-driven mindset. What does a CTO do? I hear this question all the time on LinkedIn and people debate it. The answer is really, really simple. They take whatever the customer problems, business problems are, and they figure out how to architect a solution to that using technology, which a lot of times could be writing code, but it could be hiring people, finding the right kind of vendor or product to help with the type of business problem there is. But there's something else I want to talk about that changes the lens of that. Like, that is always the job. But have you ever heard the analogy of like peacetime versus wartime leadership? Because that changes everything. So in a very established company, they are usually in peacetime. They don't want to take a lot of risk. They don't want to be very innovative. Like, hey, we make millions of dollars. We don't want to like rapidly change our tech stack. We don't want to make this big bet of this weird technology. We don't want to move to the cloud because it could cause all these problems. We don't want to change how the product works because we'd have to retrain all of these people and it would be expensive. Companies that are in that mode are in this form of peacetime. They're not very innovative. And a lot of times the CTO in those companies doesn't have to be as technical or as strong or as innovative. They're not necessarily probably writing code or doing a lot of those things. It's more of a management operations role. There's less innovation going on. Now let's compare that to a startup. A startup is not in peace mode. If they're in peace mode, they're like walking zombies, and this startup is not going to make it. They're in war mode. We got to move fast. We got to break things. We got to go. We can't spend months making a decision about what tech stack to use or what database to use and this big bet the company is going to make. We're trying to figure out, does a customer even like what we're building? Like, we need to make decisions now. We need to go. We're like in go mode, right? Totally different mode. And so if I'm hiring a CTO who's going to war with me, I need somebody who can innovate, who potentially can help write the code, can jump in with me and go. Let's figure out how we're going to do this thing, right? But if I'm a well-established company, I don't want to do that. I want to move slower. I want to be very calculated in the risks that I take. So when you think about what does a CTO do, that's why it's so different depending on the type of company that you're in. But one way to think about it is this peace mode versus war mode. That's another way to think about that. And the same principles apply to any kind of business leadership. Like, I'm not making this up. You've maybe heard this before for any kind of business leadership, but I want you to think about it from the lens of the CTO. Now, here's the big challenge. A lot of companies are in both modes all the time. Even a well-established company might be like, hey, we have this product or this specific project that has been around for a long time, like this department, this business unit. We are not taking a lot of risk on that, but over here, we're trying to do this other thing that we want to move quickly. That's really hard. So now you may have a CTO that's trying to do both. Like, we have this existing product that we're trying to slowly do things with. It's legacy. We're trying to keep it going. And over here, we're trying to move fast and maybe break things. Like, we're trying to innovate very, very quickly. That's a very difficult place to be as a CTO. It's a very difficult place to be as a company and the company culture. Like, are we moving slow or are we moving fast? Like, trying to do both is a struggle. And some of you that are watching, if you're in a mid-sized or established company, you may be in this today and trying to figure out how to balance both of these. And that's a challenge. So I hope this was helpful today, thinking about the peacetime versus the wartime. Maybe that gives you a little more analogy of how to think about the job of a CTO and what they're doing and how the role changes and is very different depending on the stage of the company, the age of the company, the size of the company. It changes. Peacetime or wartime? I prefer war. Let's go. Let's go build something. Let's innovate. Before we wrap up today's episode, we have a special resource for you if you're looking to elevate your development team to have more of a product-driven mindset. I have a fantastic free ebook about turning your code-first team into a product-first team. Please go to fullscaleteam.com/product-first-teams to download this free ebook. There's also a link in the show notes. Thanks for listening to Product Driven, and we'll see you in the next episode.